Uber Technologies, as known as Uber, is a transportation network company founded in 2009 in San Francisco, California. The name Uber is a reference to the common word Über, meaning topmost or super, and having its origin in the German word meaning above. In reality, Uber did go above all in the transportation market so much that the changes in industry as a result of it have been referred to as Uberization. Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss about Uber company. Here's the outline of the whole presentation. Firstly, we'll shortly introduce about Uber history and development throughout time. Secondly, which is also our main part, we'll focus on Uber value proposition, what makes people love and use Uber rather than traditional taxi services. Thirdly, we'll tell you about the story of Uber in Vietnam. Surely there will be many lessons to learn, and that will also be the end of our presentation. Now, let's begin. Uber was founded in 2009 under the name Uber Cab by Garrett Camp and Travis Kalanick. Originally, the application only allowed users to hail a black luxury car, and the price was 1.5 times that of a taxi. It was not until 2012 that the company introduced UberX, a service option which allows people to drive for Uber using non-luxury vehicles, but still subject to a background check, registration requirement, and car standards. From this new service, Uber started gaining millions of users. By 2015, Uber worth was $62.5 billion and was the most valuable startup in the world. Up to now, Uber has been available in 633 cities around the world, and the mobile application records that every few seconds there is a connection made between a rider and a driver. So, what creates the success of Uber? Why do people prefer Uber to other means of transport? Let's move to the second part of this presentation, Uber's value proposition. First, let's have a glance at the value proposition that Uber can bring to its customers. First, Uber is generally cheaper than local taxis. Using an Uber has been regarded as cheaper than local taxi. You are not required to tip your Uber driver, which even drives the cost of the trip even lower. Normally, the price of Uber is 40% less than traditional taxi. And this app also offers a lot of vouchers, coupons. One more thing, the price to go common places like the airport is fixed. The second value is to get a ride. With Uber, nowadays, we as a normal citizens do not need to waste time waiting for a taxi. Usually, before the decade of Uber, we must spend a lot of time for standing on the street corner, frantically waving, competing with others, or waiting for an available cab to drive by, without knowing when that might happen or not. Customers using Uber app know just how long it will take for the ride to arrive and how much it will cost. Uber, on the other hand, is app-based, and customers can request rides with convenience and from anywhere. Also, third-party apps like the Common app allows riders not only to call Uber rides, but also schedule rides for up to 30 days. So you can schedule a ride a week away and focus on getting other things done. Your ride will show up on the scheduled day. Even if the driver cancels the ride, come and request another ride on your behalf at no cost to you. Third is payment. Uber passengers get a fare estimation before even starting a ride. This helps them decide if to go on with the ride or cancel the ride request. This fare estimate is shown in the ride before completing the ride request process on the Uber app. Passengers pay for the rides via the credit or debit cards tied to their Uber accounts. For traditional taxi, the meter determines the fare at the end of the trip. Passenger can also pay with cash or electronically. Tipping is also allowed with local cabs, but this is not the same with Ubers, as riders are not encouraged to tip Uber drivers. Fourth is a vehicle. Uber cars are generally fancier than traditional cabs. All taxis are painted yellow, while Uber cabs are private-owned vehicles listed on the Uber app. Both traditional taxis and Uber must accommodate up to 4 passengers. Uber cab is cleaner and generally well kept. Local taxi drivers have a hard time maintaining their vehicles due to the high cost of obtaining a taxi license and medallion. The next value of Uber is the increased service range to cater for the needs of the great amount of customers. Depending on their budget, the occasion, and the purpose of the ride, customer can choose among UberX, which is the cheapest option, Uber Black, which is a premium luxury service, Uber Pool to share the ride with other person, Uber Rush, is to delivery within 1 day. Uber Eats is a food delivery service, and more. The final value is about the customer satisfaction. Customers rate the experience for the ride in the app, and drivers, with a score below a certain threshold, are booted from the system. With Uber, you can be rest assured of the professional service as drivers try to keep up their ratings. Also, Uber drivers can report it and terminate it from the service if there are passenger reports of misconduct on the part of the drivers. Local taxi drivers are not subject to these same rules. Let's go into the side of drivers. Uber helps drivers to get additional source of income. Their working schedule becomes more flexible. They can choose to go to work whenever they like. The payment procedure is much easier by using a smartphone and credit card, and a variety of payment methods. The drivers also get the chance to rate the customer via a dual rating system. This provides the two-side quality assurance and satisfaction. Drivers can look at the rating of the customers and decide whether to pick up this customer or not. Now let's look at the case of Uber in Vietnam. Uber made its debut in Vietnam on July 2014. Ho Chi Minh was chosen as the first destination due to its high demand of transportation. To spread its brand image, Uber matched up with local Vietnamese celebrities for the extra boost on the day of the launch. Uber soon generated successes in both finance and society's value. In Hanoi only, Uber has created on its own more than 1.5 million rides. Uber present in the market create more job opportunities to both local and international talents. But Uber didn't play the game alone. When it first came to Vietnam, Uber had to cope with two big traditional taxi brands, which are My Linh and Vinasun, as well as hundreds of other taxi companies. Later, within the Soviet competitiveness of the e-commerce market in transportation, for the first time in its long operation and development, Uber met its greatest rival in Southeast Asia, the e-commerce transportation network company Grab, with a lot of things in common with Uber and also a lot of improvement. The decline in performance of Uber after Grab's introduction partly implied the superior. On a glooming Monday, the global ride-hailing company announced that it is selling its Southeast Asian business to its rival Grab, which means all of Uber operation in Vietnam would also be taken over. In April 9, 2018, Uber technology officially ceases ride-hailing operation in Vietnam. How come the winner in international market lose the game bitterly in Southeast Asia? Here are the answers. Firstly, it was a failure in strategic business orientation. Uber chooses launching its own standalone outposts and fighting them from the outset instead of partnering with or investing in local rivals. When entering Vietnamese market, Uber spends a lot of money to maintain the support for drivers and promotion for customers, which is not a sustainable business strategy. Secondly is a fierce competition. A major challenge of Uber is facing opposition from traditional taxi and its rival Grab. Grab has cooperated with many local taxi firms. Uber has become an enemy of those. The Transport and Taxi Association have repeatedly asked the Vietnamese government to terminate the operation of Uber Taxi in Vietnam. Grab Taxi is also the dominant player in Southeast Asia. While Grab has done careful research to get deeper understanding of the domestic culture and the customer needs to adapt and adopt policies, Uber hasn't taken it into consideration. One example of Grab localization strategy would be Grab Bike, a form of motor taxi which is very popular in Vietnam. It was not until Grab has done a lot of promotion strategies to make Grab Bike become commonly known that Uber started taking action by introducing Uber Moto, but it was too late. Grab Bike was too famous while it used to be. The third obstacle is legitimacy. First, Uber operates in more fields than what it originally registered. In June 2014, Uber got its business license as a software company. The reality, however, showed that it is active also in transportation business by recruiting and training drivers, regulating bonus and penalty, subsidizing drivers when they get penalized by the government for traffic law violation. Even if Uber becomes a taxi company, it is not a qualified one. Uber drivers join passenger transport without taxi license, and the business side is regulated in degree on the condition of the transportation business by cards. To worsen the relationship with local government, Uber even suspected with tax evasion. The Vietnamese tax authorities still unable to collect tax from Uber, while its rival Grab has managed to have Vietnamese government endorsement to run its operation. We've come to the last part of this presentation. Throughout the talk, we gain more knowledge of Uber and its success as a first ever transportation network company that applied e-commerce platform to the business. We also know more about how Uber has appeared in Vietnam and how such a giant has to stop its game and merge into another company, which is evaluated to be quicker in dimension. What do you think about it? Is there anything you want to share or let us know? Please leave your comment below so that we can extend this interesting topic. Thank you for listening and wish you a great day. Goodbye.